Hello and welcome to the AEC Business Podcast. My name is Arni Heiskanen. Today we'll discuss BIM and more specifically the BIM Handbook. And we'll do it with one of its co-authors, Marcia Boltani, head of BIM International, Associate Director at Maze. Marcia, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Arni, and welcome everyone that is listening.
Yeah. Actually, we talked previously in 2023, and it was just before the WDB conference. And I think we discussed BIM as well back then, but anyway, I don't know. But let's hear about you. Could you briefly introduce yourself and tell us about your specific role in co-authoring this fourth edition of the BIM Handbook?
Yeah, sure.
Alongside with Rafael Sachs, Kang Lee, and Luciana Burdi.
Yeah, they are the co-author of this work. Yeah, so something about myself. As you already mentioned, I'm a director working for Mace Consult. If you don't know, Mace is an international consultancy company that we deliver different type of services to our clients, in specific in the construction sector, starting with the cost consultancy, project management, PMO, advisory, and also digital services. So I'm part of the digital team where we offer services including information management, building information modeling, GIS, and also there are other services relating more to digital solution, digital development. I was very happy to receive this invitation to co-author the fourth edition of the BIM Handbook. If you are not familiar with the BIM Handbook, the first edition was published 2008 by Professor Chuck Eastman together with other colleagues. And if you don't know, Chuck Eastman has been considered one of the father, or actually the father of
Yeah,
BIM
legendary.
a legendary. Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, and they decided to revise the edition because the third edition was 2011, and sorry, the second edition was 2011, and the third was 2018. Between 2018 and now, as you can imagine, there has been a lot of development in this field, both on the technological methodology standards, as we will discuss in a second. So there was a need to update it. So I've been asked to join in this new editor and authors panel, and we have been really reading again all the third edition and making notes of what we thought that was really needed to be changed. And most of the chapter has been completely rewritten. So my role has been, together with the other author of the fourth edition of the BIM Handbook, has been really to update the content to make it relevant for the current academics, practitioner, policymakers that are working in this domain.
Yeah, and actually, I have the book here. I don't know if yeah, it's here, and
Oh, you have a copy. Great.
yeah, it's quite a thick book. It's actually over 500 pages, so
It
a
is.
lot of reading, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of reading, especially now that we are used to have, to consume information very fast using internet. Probably one of the questions, maybe Arnie, that you want to ask me, say, why to have a physical book and why is needed? No, isn't it? So that is maybe the question can come, and I think that there are different answer to this. Um, One topic is about reliability. There is a lot of content, but having a lot of content also freely available doesn't mean that is good quality, it is correct. I always say also when I'm presenting, and also I'm also teaching to students, it's really important that you understand which are the sources and really the expert that you needed to rely on, because also on LinkedIn I found different posts that are not correct and people just put a like and they don't realize actually the content is not correct. So how we can, if you want really to be the best in the industry, if you want to progress in your career, you needed to have a reference that you can trust. And definitely the BIM Handbook is one of those. Another topic is how it is comprehensive, because you can find a lot of information maybe on a specific topic. And in this case, instead, as you say, there are more than 500 pages because it provides a wider view and a very comprehensive view of what is BIM. So it is really an handbook. So you can read chapter by chapter and maybe just opening and just focus. For example, there is one chapter of BIM for owners and clients, BIM for architects, BIM for the contractors. So if you're focused and you're interested on just one topic, you can focus on that, or you can read from start to end to really have this wider, let's say, understanding and deep understanding. The final point that I want to put is regarding the this deep work. um, I think that what will differentiate the leaders in the future are also people really can concentrate and work smart and deep on a topic, and not just to watch a 2 minutes slide or just 2 minutes videos and then move to the next thing, but people that really can focus and can acquire a deep knowledge. So is the reason why we believe that the Vina handbook is still a relevant source even in a AI and technological driven society as we are.
Yeah, yeah. But there is also an electronic or digital version available.
Yeah, exactly. So both a printed version but also a Kindle version for people that they prefer to have the digital one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very handy. I have them both, and I like the fact that I can search for certain words or phrases, and
Is a
it's
very good,
yeah,
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 is a
yeah.
very good point. Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. I think I'm just wondering how many books have I read recently as a book, as a physical book or a Kindle book, and I think that most of the books I nowadays I listen to, but it would be impractical to listen to a handbook, I guess.
It is a good point. So now with with the digital version, you can ask AI to read it for you. So that's definitely something if people they like maybe to listening. But again, um, is advised not to do the multitasking. So when you're doing something to focus, and there are people that prefer reading and they absorb more as they are reading and they have a physical things, or people that they prefer reading with a digital device, or people that they prefer listening. So yeah, it's based on the
Yeah, you told that the previous edition was from 2018.
yes.
So what has changed since in the book?
Yeah, so since then we found, as you can imagine, the technological part has been really rewritten, and all the part on the software, including tools that maybe now are not used anymore, or other tools that instead has been emerged, or applications such as, for example, Speckle, that were not in the previous version. So we had really put particular attention to the plugins or application that has been emerged in the past years. Also, attention to the standards. So between 2018 and now, different standards of information management, building information modeling, such as the ISO 19650, the standard on the level of information needed that 7817 part one, that also I'm leaving on the level of information needs, and others. So those that part also has been increased. Also, the different mandates across the globe, more countries are working and moving in that direction. For example, I know that also Finland is also working on the building permits, asking for an IFC and so on. So really, we wanted to capture also the evolution that has been made in this domain. We put also other two parts that is being added and making a focus. We couldn't not speak about AI, so especially how they support the different professional, giving an example of AI for rendering, for generative design, and the potential and the risks associated to that, as well as an emerging topic of the digital twin during construction and also operation.
Yeah, yeah, very, very important additions and updates. Um, I know that, well, designers use BIM and contractors more and more, but it seems that the owners are still not, let's say, using BIM as much as we would expect. I think it's somewhere around 15 to 30% of owners use BIM in some form. Um, but do you see that there is any increasing interest or demand for BIM from the owner's side?
Yeah, is a very good point. I will differentiate. I think that let's say in general there is an increase in demand, and clients are more and more becoming intelligent clients. So they don't just ask about I would like to have Vim, but they have internal teams, or they ask expert consultant to help them to define the scope of work. So then to instruct the design team and the contractor, and then later on who will be maintained to define information requirement that then can help them to receive information that are meaningful for them. Still, some clients maybe they don't have the sort of capability or capacity internally, so that is most of the time is a blocker. But I see um, from the past 10 years, definitely an improvement, also from the scope of work that we receive from clients. And that is a good sign. I will then divide between clients that they are just involved during the briefing, design and construction, and clients that also then operate. So clients that then operate, they have more benefits and more interest in applying building information modeling and in general different technologies and methodologies, because as we know, most of the cost, more than 50 to 70% of the cost, sits in the operation and maintenance. So is where really we would like to manage and control the process during the design and construction in effective ways, and then it is hand over a building, an infrastructure, in general, an asset that is functional, and then to be monitored that what has been prescribed is actually then actual and is function. So using sensors, all the topic of smart buildings, digital twin. So and then the big topic also on the sustainability. So clients now are more and more interested on reducing the environmental impact, and building information modeling is a way to create, or in general, information management is a way to create a foundation to structure data. So then it is then able to then extract the information to do, for example, carbon analysis in an effective way. So I think that also different driver such as sustainability has been a focus on the incrementing demand of BIM on the client side.
Mm, yeah. You mentioned standards, ISO 19650, uh, and standards are essential. But where do you see the gaps today between standards and actual practice?
Yeah, is is a very good question, Arnie, because we also a few years ago we created a dashboard as part of ACT, this is European Computing in Construction Community, that visualize all the different standards on BIM that has been published, and the relationship between one to each other and then with the other domain standards. And then we did several interviews in order to understand it is useful, which is your, let's say, approach in using standard in practice. And believe me or not, most of the practitioners, they don't know about those standards, except maybe for those ISO 19650 or the main one that maybe also the client is asking. So then they need to then use and follow. But other standards, they really are not familiar. Some people, they don't know even that IFC is international standard.
Okay.
uh, um, to give an example. So one is really about awareness again, and most of those there are different type of standards. Standard also you need to pay for it. So especially small medium enterprise, there is a sort of difficulty to get that access, even if in certain countries, such as for example in the UK, that is being provided free guidance as part of what is called information management framework. If you're not familiar, in the NEMA website, you can find free guidance on that, but also other countries been doing similar things. So I think that one of the topic is really access, both from an economical point of view and another from a knowledge point of view, or maybe the client is not asking, so then they prefer to do in a bespoke way and not to follow a standard because that might require them maybe more effort. Another thing is that I've been working on standardization now for more than 9 years because I'm leading a group, both SN, that is European Standardization Body, and ISO at international level. And in these 9 years, I saw an improvement, but especially in the past, standard on digital construction has been created in isolation. So maybe you want to apply a standard and then maybe another one, and then they don't speak to each other. So maybe also that might be an answer to your question. That's regarding the application. Also, sometimes standard has been written then maybe to solve a problem without taking into account other variables. But say that now I see these more and more improved. So especially on the topic of building information modeling, there is an interest to create an ecosystem of standard that really has the information management as a foundation. So to create a structure of data can be used for different purposes. So that is reassuring.
Yeah, we should do another episode on standards alone.
Definitely.
Yeah. Um, the book covers a lot regarding design, construction, and now the clients owners. But I think maybe I didn't find so much on MEP or mechanical side of design, and it's becoming more and more important in construction. Am I right or or not?
I mean, I think that you're right. I think that in the engineering part, when there is being for engineer, there is a cover part of the let's say MEP also in that section. So not just, let's say, the structural engineering, but also more the MEP one. But definitely is not because it's not relevant, but actually is very relevant. The MEP part. I think that historical BIM has been developed more, as we know, from an architectural point of view, follow
Yeah, and
structure,
structural. Yeah.
structure with the application, as we know, that are very good. So in Finland from Tekla, that is very advanced on the structural steel details. And then MEP has been the probably when we think about the sort of three discipline, MEP has been the one that has been always lacking a little bit behind the others. But similar to what I said before, I think that now these still now we can find application that also cover all these three discipline and also the relationship between them. So application such as, for example, Magic Card that also is a plugin to Revit, and so that can help on the MEP side. So yeah, there is. I think that in the book and it's also in the case studies, because the book also has a section on case study that also has been reviewed. That is also a major update. Consider the past version. We've been also taking into account that and the yeah, including this topic.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you talk about certain commercial software brands in the book, and we know that many criticize the current BIM, uh, uh, let's say, environment that we use software from the last century actually, and there's a lot of talk about BIM 2.0 and so on. Uh, how do you feel? Is the software that we use nowadays, is it up to date?
Is a very good question. I think that, as I mentioned before, we have been also in this current version is a sort of bridge of the traditional tool that we all know, but also introducing application, as I mentioned before, as Peckle before, that also really is rethinking the way that information is also exchanged between the different application. And coming back to your question, I believe that. Um, Still, let's say, the most common application are not designed totally for the type of workflow that we see emerging at the moment. But I see startups that are working very actively on that, and that is it will be also my suggestion to the architectural practices that maybe are listening to us. It's not just focus on the big names, but also explore the other application that might solve one of many, let's say, problems that you have. I'm thinking about especially in the early design, in the planning, to have the different optioneering. So now, thanks also to the AI-driven approach, this can support. I don't see that is replacing, because I've been testing myself also some of those application, and I can ensure that it's not like you press a button and then you have, I don't know, thousand on layout, and then you need then to select which one is useful. Still, everything starts in defining your needs, and based on the information that you put as an input, and also attending the sort of algorithm that those application has been trained. Because all of us, we complain that the built environment is not effective, has not been designed in a correct way, and if I've been using those layout really to train the machine, maybe the result is not um, good as we will expect. So yeah, there is definitely a work to be done to go a little bit more to scratch from the surface of those application that you see videos that, oh, there is a 2D, and then you press and then the 3D is creating happy days. Is not as it is, or is not as maybe immediate as it is. But I don't know about you, Arnie, but you have a longer experience in the industry. But it's a very exciting time now that we see this new application emerging, and the potential is really promising.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, what we are seeing almost every day, something really interesting comes up, and as you pointed out, the early design is where you have the most influence on the project eventually. So that's a good point to start with. Uh, how do you see in the next editions of the handbook, what kind of technologies or uh, ideas will be more prominent in the next in the coming editions?
Yeah, I think that this topic of the automation and AI will be definitely something that will change the the way that we produce information. Sta Thing that I likely touch about before, when I was starting, my career, and probably Arnie was you had a similar experience. I remember how long it was to create a render. I remember nights where you start in a render and then you let your computer going, and then you wake up in the morning and then there was an error and then you had to redo everything. So also the sort of type of computer power that you had, and instead look at what now you can do, just providing some prompt, then you can ask to change things, and in few seconds really you can at least give a different feeling of what an internal, or indoor or external environment can have, and really improving the stakeholder engagement, and also the way that we also interrogate those tools. Again, when I was starting my career, was really manual. You needed to draw something, object by object, and so on. And instead, now again, with this potential of AI that is on the top of those applications, provide again prompts. And so I see that this will be more and more emerging on how professional use those applications supporting their job. I see also an emerging of new roles. A lot of people usually say, "Oh, this technology will replace us," and I'm sure that also you heard about a lot of those. The discussion is that every time there is an evolution or a revolution on technology, is an opportunity to have new jobs. So I'm quite sure that let's say the next edition of the BIM Handbook also we take into account of these new let's say roles and jobs that will emerge. Um, uh, in increasing work on the integration with sensors, um, on monitoring the sort of performances, robotics, also something that I think that will be more integrating with building information modeling. And the topic related when we speak about building information modeling, also coming back to the foundation of information management, make it the requirements right, and setting the sort of requirements, checking, do quality assurance, because it will be less and less on the how to create, because it will be more and more in creating in an autonomous way, but then how to, as I mentioned, defining the requirements in a clear way, also in a machine readable way, but also be checking the results. So an effort on verifying and validating the output. Um, yeah, so and the ethical part on the how those application should be used. I'm quite keen on this topic, and also I will launch very soon also a special issue on the artificial intelligence and ethics in the construction sector. So watch this space because is a very important topic. Sometimes it's not really what the machine can do, but can we do it? Should we do it? That we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah. I asked one of my guests about their vision for the next 10 years in AI, and they said, that's too long. We cannot even imagine what will come. I don't know, but what is your vision for BIM?
Yeah, my vision for BIM is that it will be um, more and more supported and integrated, as we are already seeing, as I mentioned, with other technology is AI. So we see already BIM application that they have these AI features included. So I see that as a sort of evolution of the way that we provide BIM. I see also BIM as an enabler and the foundation for different application. Yeah, so that is something that I see emerging as let's say one of the main trends for BIM. And now there are the discussion, is BIM going to die or to remain? But as I
Mm.
said, is a foundation of creating information that then can be consumed by the machine. So is quite. I think that it is and still will remain quite relevant for a few
Yeah,
years.
I've seen a couple of presentations on with a slide, kill BIM. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when those lies are there is mainly because people still believe that BIM is a 3D, so it's really related to the design and 3D representation, and still people are they are yeah, it's more difficult for them to understand that this study is about data, is about information, is the structuring information that really provide the value. The 3D representation, of course, helps the understanding of the project or the program is still important. For example, for the clash detection, the application between different discipline and so on. But as we said, most of the value is on the information that also you can also pass from the design to the construction to the operation and maintenance and then the sort of end of life. So it's really this golden thread that is quite, and I saw also this evolving since the beginning of my career more than 15 years ago. That is was really 3D driven to now move into a sort of data driven approach. So I think that when people say kill BIM is because they want to avoid the focus on clients or people asking for BIM and just thinking that they will have a nice 3D representation.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, where can our listeners get their copy of the new edition and access? So there is also some companion material. How can they access that?
Yeah, so the book is published by Wiley. So in the website, you can find both the Kindle and the paper version, but also is distributed by Amazon. So that maybe for some will be easier because it's distributed now across the world. So yeah, both let's say in both places you can find the fourth edition of the BIM Handbook.
Yeah, and I guess it is pretty popular because I had to wait for my book. It was out of stock.
That is a very good sign. Yeah, when you told me, we were very pleased, myself and the other author. Yeah, because is used, as I said, because it's such an important reference, the BIM handbook. This is used both for students that maybe it's the first time that they heard about BIM and they want to know more, but also for a practitioner and that they want to know what is new on the topic. So yeah, we are very pleased that. Is a popular book.
Yeah. Marcia, it has been again a pleasure talking with you, and um, I wish all the best with your work regarding standards and AI and BIM.
Thank you. Same for you. Thank you for your work, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe to this podcast and visit aec-business.com, the award-winning blog, for more news and stories.